JRCTv. This week we're focused on health and fitness. As we get into this week's episode, I wanted to give you a little bit of an experience I had recently, and it comes from hiring a new personal trainer. What we did is I went out and I looked around at my life and I looked for all the things that are going extremely well right now, but I also looked for where's the weakest point? Where's the point in my life right now that I could really grow? And I asked you to do the same in thinking about what were the 3 points we're about to cover today. Look for the area of your life that needs the most growth, the most improvement, where it's something you might be avoiding, it's something you might even acknowledge that you're a little weak in, or something that you might not even be aware you're a little weak in. But that's what I did. I combed through my life, I looked for everything I was doing, which is going pretty well right now, and I said, this one area, I'm really strong in, I'm doing really, really well, but I know it could be better if I'm honest with myself. I know I'm capable of more because I'm less than 10% body fat, eating super healthy, yoga every day, running every day, 2 to 5 miles a day, but I know I'm physically stronger than the way I was feeling. So I hired a personal trainer, and while working with him over the last couple of weeks, there are 3 main lessons that stood out to me that I feel would be very valuable for you, and that's what I want to share with you today. So lesson number 1, I'll never forget, the very first day we came in, he asked me, how long has it been since you've hit the gym, hit the weights? So, I don't know, a few months since I hit it seriously. And he said, okay, he said, I got to remind you of something. You got to remember that you're going to have to push through the uncomfortable moments. You're going to have to push through the times when you don't feel like it. And he says, it's not going to be day 1. It's not going to be day 2. It'll probably start about day 3. Because in the beginning, it's going to be fun. In the beginning, you're going to be all pumped up and amped up. He said by day 3 is when the soreness is going to kick in, lactic acid or muscle burn or whatever you call it. But that's when you're going to get up and you're not going to feel like showing up to the gym. You're not going to feel like giving it your all. You're going to have all kinds of aches and pains and soreness that's going to cause you to want to slow down. He says that's when you need to remember to push through that uncomfortable moment because you're minutes, seconds, only steps away from no longer having that uncomfort. Meaning you push through a few more times and all of a sudden week 3, it's awesome. You do a leg day, doesn't feel like anything. You walk a little like Bambi the next day. Besides that, you're good to go. And so that was that first lesson. And my first question for you is, where in your life do you need to remind yourself of that if you're going to go tackle, if you're going to go grow yourself, if you're going to go strengthen yourself, if you're going to go expand what you're capable of in that category of life, in that area of life, how can you remind yourself to push through the uncomfort, to actually enjoy going through that time knowing that something better is waiting on the other side for you? That's one. Second lesson, he says also the main reason we're working together isn't to do the bicep curls or the reps or the chest press or the leg press or whatever. He says the reason we're working together is for me as your trainer to identify where are you the weakest. I was like, well, that doesn't sound very inspiring. And he says, no, you don't understand. Because if we just focus on where you're the strongest, it'll be easy. You'll show up, you'll look great, you'll feel great. Hey, you might get a little stronger while you're here, but it's not going to grow who you really are. He says, it's my job to work you out and look for where's your weakest point. Where's the point where you struggle the most? Where's the point where you give up your good form? Where's the point when you don't have any form? And in that moment, I want to show up and help you grow. That's where we're going to, again, go back to lesson 1. We're going to face the difficult moment. We're going to push through the uncomfort so we can grow the muscles in places you don't currently have them. So here's the second point we're going to talk about today. Discovering, identifying, and really focusing on what are the weakest areas in life or the areas that need the most growth, and what's your plan to hone in and focus on those to ensure that you're growing in the areas that need it most. Finally, the third point, something we mentioned a few seconds ago, but I'll really highlight it now. The third point, he said, you have to remember to keep good form. And I was like, keep good form? What does that mean? Like shoulders back, hips in, whatever? He said, no. He says, what's interesting is most people think their form is, the way they lift the first 5 weights. That's not it. The first 5 reps are easy because you still have a lot of muscle. You're not torn down. You're not worn out yet. He says, where you really figure out what your form is, isn't when it's easy. You figure out what your form is when it gets hard. He says, you want to see what someone's form is in their squat? Put a couple 100 pounds on their back and have them squat and see what happens. See if their knees wobble in, see if their elbows kick out, see if they start wiggling all over the place. That's their actual form. You're just putting pressure to see what actually happens when they're under pressure. So this last point, here's what I want you to consider in your life. Where in your life that when under pressure do you lose your good form? good form in ethics, good form in values, good form in staying aligned with your vision or mission, good form in aligning yourself through your actions with the beliefs you currently have about that category of your life. You know, if you believe that anything is possible if you deliver and show up, do you really live that way when it gets tough? If you believe that you're strong enough and capable enough and intelligent enough to make massive and amazing results happen, do you continue to stay focused like that when it gets really interesting, per se, in your life or in your world? If you believe that love is the key, do you stay loving when people aren't loving towards you, when it gets uncomfortable and difficult too? That's what I'm asking you here. So, the last question I'd ask you to think about is, where do you need to re-strengthen your form or create a new form to really stay congruent with and consistent within your life? Where do you need to go back and kind of give yourself a stress test to say, listen, are my values really congruently happening in my life, in my business, in my health, in my finances? Are they really showing up at their truest form when I'm under stress, when I'm under pressure? Or do I break and just go what's easy to try to get the extra reps in, to try to get to the result as fast as possible? Screw the form. Now that's up to you to decide. Anyways, I hope these questions are useful. Again, real quick to just recap. Step 1, really be willing and able and ready to push through the difficult times. Step 2, identify your weakest point and make it stronger. Step 3, keep good form, morals, ethics, values, and stay aligned with it when you're under pressure. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of JRCTv, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Hope you have an amazing week, and until then, see you later.